Is it possible for me to never again be in a toxic relationship? The answer is absolutely yes. It happens every single day. It's happened for people I love. It's happened for people I've been helping through their processes, and it's happened for me. So the answer, again, straight up is yes. In case you're in doubt, in case you believe that, you're always going to have to face some sort of toxicity within your relationships, that's not inherently true. As a matter of fact, it's supposed to be that once you experience a toxic relationship, you take the lessons from that, you integrate them into yourself, and you move forward into healthier and healthier relationship dynamics. Now, that being said, being in toxic relationships or not being in toxic relationships has nothing or very little, if nothing, to do with whether you're running into narcissists every other day or not. And by the way, if you're running into narcissists all the time and every single day, it's time for some self-reflection. Gone are the days where we just blame everybody else for our own life experience. We're stepping into a new paradigm. We're stepping into taking radical accountability, not shaming ourselves, not self-loathing, woe is me, look how terrible I am. No, it's not about that. It's about simply looking at the results of our life and saying, what am I living out? What am I believing? What are those internal belief systems that I'm holding on to? What's my programming and my conditioning around relationships that's keeping me in these certain patterns? Now, that being said, it is of the utmost importance for us to realize, for us, you and I, individually, to realize that just because there is a toxic person in our life does not necessarily mean we need to be in relationship with that individual or with an individual who demonstrates those toxic attributes. I'm going to do my best not to call a person a toxic person. It's just the attributes that they carry forward. Just like if you dropped your cup, I'm not going to call you a cup dropper. I'm just going to say you dropped your cup. It's that same type of thing. If you drop your cup 10,000 times, I'm not going to identify you as a cup dropper. That's just how I am. That's just how I move, right? If you feel anxiety, I'm not going to say, oh, your anxiety. I'm not going to claim that for you or me. So again, that being said, when you have or are surrounded by individuals who have toxic attributes, and those are their strongest characteristics and attributes in life, it has very little to do with how many of those people that we run into or engage with, whether we're in these relationships or not, and everything to do with why we get into those relationships, why we engage those individuals, right? So a part of my old course, which I actually might bring back, which was how to get over or healing from a toxic relationship. In the beginning, I talked about the reason why we get into these relationships in the first place, why are they so appealing for us? And I basically stated how, there's a multitude of reasons, but they all come down to this one thing, and that is what we believe about ourselves or what we deserve, right? Our level of self-worth. Shout out to my co-host from the Healer Circle podcast, Maha. She is, all in on this concept, and it's something that's always been a part of my own experience. As an Enneagram 3, it is all to do with self-worth, right? So, the belief of what we deserve in this life, the belief of what I am deserving of or not deserving of, the respect that I deserve or do not deserve is going to be the catalyst of whether or not I get into and also stay in these toxic relationships. Now, again, why do I manifest a multitude of narcissists? That's a subject for a whole nother time. Made multiple videos on that subject matter and will continue to speak on it because it matters. And I believe all of us need to come to this level of awareness, which is, again, our belief system are attracting people to us continuously and bringing people into our lives. Now, whether or not we let those people engage into our lives, it necessarily doesn't have to do with these boundaries per se, like these external boundaries, but to do with the internal boundaries, our boundaries with ourselves. What are we willing to engage in and put up with ourselves? So most of us get in relationships, actually all of us get in relationships that reflect a sort of belief that we have for us. If I am beating myself up internally, abusing myself internally, always talking down on myself, holding no forgiveness for myself, no acceptance of myself, if I have those attributes internally, I'm going to see those manifest in the people around me, or I'm going to see those attracted in the people who I have relationship with. And they might be in small ways or it might be in grand ways, depending on the level of intensity behind, how I treat myself. Now, that's something a lot of us don't like to face because the truth at first is bitter. It hurts. It's like this sour pill that you got to take down. And when it hits the body, at first it feels strange. It feels weird, but eventually it does its work, right? It eventually does the healing, and that truth does set us free from whatever ailment that we have at the time. But at first it hurts. Like, it's not fun at first to find out that the reason I'm getting into toxic relationship after toxic relationship is because of me. That's not the most fun news. That's not the most exciting thing I could tell you at this very moment in your life. I understand that, and I respect that. I wholeheartedly respect that. But that being said, is it something that we have to accept in order for us to move forward? We have to accept that to move forward. We have to accept that the reason why we get into these situationships and relationships, these marriages, whatever form it may take, that are toxic, that are, inherently parasitic or narcissistic, is because of our own internal conversation or our own internal belief system. What do we believe we are deserving of and not deserving of? I tell you, the first time I ever saw a sister leave a relationship, or a sister who truly embodied integrity, embodied self-respect, she got into a relationship with an individual. I'm going to leave her name out of this because she deserves at least that. But she got into a relationship, and this dude was showing certain characteristics. And immediately, I'm talking about immediately, she said, you know what, this ain't it. Like, he was good looking, ball player dude, whatever. All these attributes, right? Probably getting to the bag, had a little edge to him. All that kind of stuff, right? All the trappings that a lot of individuals may desire. And yet, she said to herself, you know what, this ain't it. I don't want this. And she moved forward. Unlike most people who would kind of still entertain, have one foot in, one foot out. Maybe they'll change. Maybe they're different. Maybe they'll try to overlook the red flags, right? Instead of trying to overlook the red flags, she said, you know what? No, I'm deserving of better than this. And so she kept it pushing and found herself in an even better situation. And sometimes we'll get those. Like, it's not the universe, quote unquote, testing us, I believe. It's just us, like, having reflections of our, let's say, our belief systems. And they might be belief systems that we're letting go of. And they reflect in our reality, and we have a choice to make. Just like me, I used to have this strong need and desire to prove my worth through salvation of other people, right? Through martyrdom, through, I can save you from everything. And so I try to save everybody in all of my relationships continuously, right? I am here, Captain, Saver, whoever. Not that type of not Captain Saver, I'm talking about, but like anybody, whether it's cousins, family, like non-family, I was trying to save everybody besides myself, really. And so that led me to a sequence of relationships where I was getting into these, relationships with individuals who were so needy, individuals who needed everything given to them, handed to them, individuals who were sucking everything out of the room, and I would blame it on them. I would say it was their fault. I would say, they were parasitic, or they were never satisfied, they were ungrateful. But at the end of the day, when truth came to settle, I was the one who was looking to find my worth through that type of codependent relationship, right? To use a popular term. So in order to never be in a toxic relationship again, it comes down to building your self-respect. How much do you respect yourself? Your self-worth? Do you believe that you are worthy of a beautiful, wonderful relationship? And then building the habits and the practices around that, right? It's the equivalent of, if I've always had one belief, or I've always had one habit, then I have to pick up another habit. But in order to get that new habit, I have to let go of the old one. Belief systems are the same way. You can't hold two opposing beliefs and expect that, you're just going to be fine and dandy. Like, you're just going to, I can say that, I am deserving of the best relationship and I'm deserving of the worst. Like, they're going to cancel each other out. And in actuality, in most cases, the negative one is going to win over, right? Because that negative is oftentimes more appealing because you're more addicted to it. You're more used to it. So you're better off letting it go, giving it less and less of your energy. It's not resisting it or fighting it. It's just giving it less and less of yourself, right? And starting to buy into the new narrative, starting to buy into the new story. Now, I'm probably going to link a video about going into or stepping into your new story, because I believe that one is vital for truly just understanding that concept. But for this video, what you really needed to know is, again, this level of just awareness, like opening up to understand that the relationships I'm having is not necessarily like what all these, let's say, coaches or relationship experts or whatever is telling me, which is, oh, you just need to, have the best vetting process, or stop attracting narcissists, or stop, what is it? Or make better boundaries with narcissists, or whatever it is, right? No, like, if you are in a place where you believe that you're not deserving, or your worth is based on continuously giving and not who you are, then you'll continue to attract individuals who are takers. And that's like, you have fear, they have fear. So you attract at the vibrational frequency of fear. Whether that fear shows up as, the controller or the controlling, that doesn't matter. You're going to attract what you are. So when you start to come to a place where you are, higher vibrationally, you're going to start to attract those type of people and to accept those type of relationships, right? Because if you're not ready for like a peaceful relationship, and you're so used to chaos, and you step into a peaceful relationship, you'll find 1,000 different ways to sabotage it, because that's what you've been used to so far. That's all you've known so far. And so again, you will find ways to literally sabotage the best of relationships and situations when really it's not necessary. Really, you don't have to go through those trials in that way. You just have to come to a place where you are fully bought into the idea that you are deserving. And that, again, is a choice. Like, you're not doomed to be a person with, low self-worth or low self-respect. That is a choice of what habit are you going to pick up. That is a choice of what are you going to put your focus to. What are you going to feed your energy or your focus to. That's all it comes down to at the end of the day. So that being said, if you are somebody who is in this process, I'm opening up my calendar right now for one-on-one coaching / consulting. So make sure to book a time with me one-on-one, and let's really crack this code for you. Let's really get to the bottom of it and move you forward into taking the action steps necessary to actually build these new belief systems and to have the results show in your life, because that's what it's about at the end of the day. We want results. So if you're committed, you're going to do what's necessary to get the results. If you're not, if you're just interested, then you're going to click to another video and you're going to forget about it completely until you're desperate enough, or until, things get so crazy and out of whack that finally you realize that you need to do something different in order to get something different. So again, go into the description below, click on my Calendly link. That will lead you to my personal calendar. Book a time, book a day that works for you. I appreciate you. Love you. Peace.